This guy is like a nuanced thing. And he used to try to do it. He used to sit outside the Stern Show with macaroni and cheese from his mother and a first base mitt on rollerblades outside the Stern Show, 5:30 in the morning. This is back in 02, the old studio, and he would do impressions of Gary, and they were all good. And then he started doing me, and I go, that's pretty good. And I never heard about it again until this past summer. He was doing it on Howard, and he left voicemails as me when I would call in sick, like on heroin. And I heard one, I go, I thought it was a phone call, I forgot I left. Like, and then he had him in for the news. It's not as good live. On the phone, it's pretty incredible. So, okay, we have that. We'll talk about that. Get the water with Gerald and that explanation. And that'll take us right into Harry. And then your story is great about the other thing. And is he in L.A., Harry?
New Orleans.
Okay. This is perfect. Okay, good. We got a lot going on here. We're ready. Artie Quitter podcast on a Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, right? Not Thursday. Wednesday, November the 4th. There's a lot of shit going on. There's something in the air. There really is. First of all, Ryan Reese is back. Ryan, what's up, buddy?
2 days in a row.
I know. It's
big action.
If he's available, you'll be seeing a lot of Ryan. We like him here. And so thanks for coming back on. And, of course, Flippin', our Met fanatic and Giant fan. And look, I told him I'm a Giant fan too. I could commiserate on that awful loss. But the first time we see Flippin' since the Met loss. Honestly, what's your biggest thing you're mad at the Mets about?
I mean, their offense.
What did they play? No hitting, right?
Their offense sucked all postseason. All postseason, except for Murphy in the first 2 rounds. And Granderson was great the entire time.
Granderson really showed he's worth all that fucking money.
Absolutely.
And probably more. And Murphy got them probably with Granderson single-handedly to the. That's why you maybe let him go on those errors. He got as hot offensively in any playoff series as I've ever seen.
And it's so Murphy too to do that. I mean, he's an up and down player. He always has been.
I mean, there's people, a lot of great players who are clutch or streak hitters. Like Nettles was for the Yankees, Pinella. They got hot. Very rarely is it consistent, but I never saw anybody get that hot, even Reggie in the postseason.
Yeah.
But the Cubs weren't hitting against the Mets. I told Dan, I said, they're not hitting. Analyze it all you want. And the Mets did not hit. They didn't show up with the bats. And You're not going to win a World Series like that.
Yeah, they seemed kind of like happy to be there. They weren't that focused at the plate, swinging for the fences every single time.
They were too, again, the Met fans got too... And shame on New Yorkers for being this, like, they were acting
optimistic.
Like, yeah. When you get to the end zone, act like you've been there before. It's like they're all singing Piano Man to Billy Joel. You're down 3-1. Yes. Don't sing Piano Man yet.
I've seen so many fans who are like, great year. I mean, shut the fuck up. I wanted to see them win the fucking World Series. They had a lead in every single game.
Of course you do. They should have won.
They fucked up Game 4. They blew Game 1 badly.
Yeah.
And, Game 5 was just... The killer. I mean, that was just the dagger in the heart.
And again,
but their pitching showed a lot all postseason. Guts.
Okay, you gotta
not
be
just
happy.
Stuff, but guts.
You gotta be happy with that because that's the future. Now, Harvey yelling at Collins to stay in. Do you have
what do you
problem?
think about that?
Well, you would have liked this analogy. He looked like the guy in Ferguson, Michael Brown, talking to the deli owner when he just said, "No, I'm taking this these Twizzlers.
I want these." Yeah,
that's what Matt Harvey looked like.
It was Philly Blunts, but
that's what he looked like. He was taking Philly Blunts from Collins.
Yeah, well, no. And there's a lot of people who felt like Harvey kind of bullied that whole situation. I mean,
he did.
But Collins is the boss, though.
No, I'm saying you should listen to, like, Joe Torre. He would have sat down. Although David Wells yesterday said that he would have done the same thing, and maybe Torrey would have let him in. Of course, David Wells also said he doesn't promote homosexuality yesterday.
That's true, yeah.
And I don't really think he knew what he was talking about there. But what do you think about that? Do you think? I mean, Harvey got proven wrong.
Yeah, and I think that if you do let him start the ninth, you have to pull him after he walks the leadoff guy. You can't let him face
Okay,
Hosmer.
but what about Collins had every right to maybe be scared that, okay, if I go out and do that, Collins on national TV at the mound now, Harvey might yell at him.
Yeah, that's
he might
true.
Go, no, I'm not coming out like in front of.
Yeah, but I think that always the baseball rule has been, all right, kid, you want the ninth? You let one guy on, you're out. That's like the bargain.
That should be, but he seemed irrational.
Seemed caught up. I think he was caught up.
Harvey seemed irrational.
The crowd was going nuts. They said, we want Harvey. It's been a weird year between Harvey and the fans with the Scott Boras stuff, and they thought he was going to shut it down with the
not
innings
showing
limit.
up for the fucking.
He was late for that workout.
Coming off, ACL, oh man.
Yeah, and I mean, he pitched his ass off in that
Yeah,
game. I mean, he basically was dominating that game, and it was awesome. But yeah, in retrospect, it probably was better to send Familia out to start the ninth.
In retrospect, like in Ferguson, Collins should have shot him.
Yes. Well,
if Collins, like in Ferguson, shot Harvey, I think there probably would have been less rioting.
Yeah, that's
in Flushing. Yeah. But look, the pitching is the big thing. You're right. It's the future, and you got to be happy with that. But at the same time, the Royals weren't dominant. It shouldn't have been 5 games.
No.
The Mets had a chance to win, and that's frustrating.
yeah, it definitely hurts. I mean, I've seen them go to the World Series twice in 30 years. So I feel
how
like,
old were you you were 15 with the Yanks in 2000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 15 is when it's rough.
That was tough because it was the Yankees, and it was like not even your own special thing. Like at least this year they were the National League champs. They went up against the defending American League champs. It wasn't like they.
Well, that's how it's set up, for the World Series.
But I'm saying the Royals went back to back.
Oh, you mean oh, right, okay,
yeah,
that's right.
And it wasn't like a bullshit opponent that they absolutely should have beat. The Royals are a very good team. They had the lead in all those games.
But they belong there, though. The Mets belong there.
It just sucks because it feels like that's your chance because it's so hard to get through the playoffs.
But think about the Yankees. I was at Game 1 with my cousin in 2000. And that Game 1 to me was the whole series.
Yeah.
Whoever won that, and
just like this year,
Timo Perez making that base running mistake, and Vizcaino winning with that hit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real. Who
was my favorite Met in '96?
Look, you're right. They easily could have won that game. The Mets, and I think Game 1
seemed like this year.
Yeah.
So it's tough, but I mean, now that I'm kind of over it, I'm like, all right, you know what? It just wasn't meant to be. At least these pitchers got that experience. I mean, Steven Matz, it was like his 9th start. It was in the World Series. He pitched very well.
I have to give you an O'Reilly. You're in the no spin zone. You're spinning.
I'm spinning. And I really am. I'm not one of those guys who's like, oh, it was a great year.
You don't want me to say. You don't want to hear me say congrats on getting there.
Nah, I hate whatever. It's a pennant, and they haven't won that many of them. But no, it sucks.
It was a fun year, man, because they were exciting the whole time.
And no question. And they had a lot of special moments. The Flores crying thing and. The walk-off
special
home
by
run.
gay, you mean?
Exactly. Well, the Mets have different standards than the Yankees. Right?
What do you make any changes at all?
Yeah,
if you can.
I don't think they're going to bring back Cespedes because he's going to cost a shitload of money.
And what about Cologne? He's going to be 400 pounds next year?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd like to see them bring Cologne back, but it's going to cost because he could still pitch. I mean, it's amazing how he can still pitch.
And what about that? It proves baseball. You don't have to be in shape. I love it. Gaylord Perry looked like.
He was frail.
Gaylord Perry looked like my fatter diabetic uncle, and he pitched a no-hitter. What about Familia?
Well, Familia, he's a guy who basically had a great year. It didn't show up on the national stage in the World Series. They also put him in bad spots. Came in with runners on, and they asked him to do some heavy lifting. I think he's going to come back and be just as good next year, if not better.
Okay, but you're being surprisingly nice to him because I know that's
it
what you
wasn't
ask
his
a
fault.
closer to do heavy lifting.
I understand
that's
that.
What they do, heavy lifting.
But it wasn't like he, he was so good all year, Artie, that I almost can't count.
How many saves? He tied
the team record. I think he had 42, 41, 42.
Okay, no, listen.
He's a young kid. I mean, he started the year expected to be a setup man. And that guy Mejia,
if Rivera's a 10, what is Familia?
I mean, Familia is maybe a 7.5 or an 8.
No, that's
something
a bit.
like that.
Listen, he could improve.
I mean, nobody's Rivera.
He could improve, too, though. How old is he?
Only 25, 26.
You got to be happy with that, my
God. Their pitching staff is extremely young. The kid Conforto in left field. He had 2 home runs in a World Series
That's
game.
huge.
He's 22. I mean, they got a positive future.
How old's Murphy?
30.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
he's probably going to go to the American League now.
Yeah, to hit. I mean, more of a.
He could be a DH. He could play third base. His third base isn't bad. His second base is pretty questionable.
Those errors he made were really. It really did look like he doesn't know how to play second base in a way.
Yeah, he's honestly already one of the most up and down, weird. He makes the strangest decisions. He stole that base in the Dodgers game out of nowhere. Where the hell did that come from? One of the most heads-up plays you can see from a guy who never makes heads-up plays. So I've liked Murphy for a long time. Ever since he came up, he was just a kid who could hit but couldn't field. They didn't have a position for him. He's worked hard.
What did he? How many games in a row did he homer? 5 or 6?
7.
7?
6 or 7.
That is unfucking believable.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I tweeted out after that error. I was like, "Calm down, guys." I mean, that first one,
they wouldn't have been there without him.
You really could make that argument. And again, Gray Anderson, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But again, what an odd sort of thing. What odd sort of weird spirits are around in the sense that the Mets lost, don't get a ring, but Derek Jeter is getting a ring.
Yeah.
He's getting married.
Well, good for him.
Is that true? Now, look, again, a lot of broads have claimed this. I think Minka Kelly mistakenly told Page Six, maybe, and she got her walking papers. But Hannah, she's stunning, by the way, this Hannah Davis.
Yeah.
He's with her all the time. So the story is, yeah, she got him. It's the end of an era. New York Yankees superstar Derek Jeter is officially almost off the market for good, confirming he's in fact engaged to SI swimsuit cover model Hannah Davis. She's not like a computer geek. It's an SI swimsuit cover.
How old's Jeter?
Jeter's 42, I believe.
Yeah.
Now it's time.
Yeah.
Okay, now, which is a good point, Ryan. This guy, could anyone have done it more right than Derek fucking Jeter?
Probably not.
20-year career, the captain of the Yankees, okay? He's not Rick Steves to me, but he's a good-looking guy, let's face it. No, I guess he's good looking. To me, sometimes he looks like Franklin on Charlie Brown.
I was going to say, you had a great Charlie Brown.
You got that round face.
Yeah.
I used to live on the Upper East Side, and he would go hang out with his buddies up there.
Right.
And you'd see Jeter walking up the street with just two regular guys, and then a pack of women following him. A pack of women, like a block behind, like a whole pack of women just following him.
There's a comic. There's a well-known, real famous comedian who has told a story once that I heard. He went out clubbing with Jeter about 10 years ago. This was, and they picked up 5 chicks at a club, like supposedly Puerto Rican chicks with ample bosoms. He's into that, I heard. And they go back to Jeter's apartment on the East Side, and this is a well-known comedian, but these were 21-year-old girls. Jeter disappears with 2 of them into his bedroom, and there's 3 of them outside, and the comic is sitting on the couch. They're not even looking at the comedian. They're actually getting ready. They're like getting ready in a mirror to go into Jeter's bedroom. Like they were online at the bedroom. The comic told me he felt like invisible, and he's trying to rap with them, and they're just like sort of getting ready to go into the room to be the next.
Focused. Okay,
we're
like second string. We're going in soon.
Look, we're trying to get in the zone. I know you have like a funny bit about airports.
They're warming up, stretching out.
Put
me in,
the comic said he eventually, like Jeter was in there and gone for the night. He said he kind of like took something out of the fridge, like a beer, and went home. And he didn't hear from Jeter for years. Like he didn't talk about. That's what famous guys do, I guess. But and if I told you the name of the comedian, you'd go, wow, like clearly. He's a guy who probably gets laid from being
Gilbert Godfrey.
I was guessing Barry Silver.
Think climbing. Think his last name and climbing. That's all I'll say.
That girl's hot that Jeter's marrying, by the way.
Hot ain't even the fucking word, man. Hannah Davis is. Where do we? She's the new DirecTV chick. But where was she? Did she first show up? She was famous for not just SI. I feel like she was famous for something else.
A lot of hard work.
Well, there was a DirecTV ad campaign before the one that now she's on the horse, but she used to be the little like fairy.
Oh, that'd be great. It's so sexy if you're really on the horse. I'm on the horse.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I played in the DirecTV Beach Bowl with her. Mm-hmm. DirecTV, the 3 years I worked there, every Super Bowl week they put sand in a big arena and C-list celebrities play against football players.
Wow.
In football. I played with. I was covering her. She beat me for 2 touchdowns in the sand. I threw a pass that Terrell Owens caught. I came in from Joe Montana in Indianapolis. Talking about just moments of like, I was like, okay, I wasn't getting in, and me and Nick just got the show on DirecTV, and the head of DirecTV wanted to promote our show, so he said, "Tell Montana Artie's coming in." And I went in and told Joe Montana, "I'm in for you."
Now, what an interesting moment! What a special moment for you, and what a just like who are you putting in for me?
He kind of giggled and went like, "All right." And he left. And again, Indianapolis is a big Stern city, so it got cheers. Montana had no idea who I was. He goes, "What is it?" Like,
exactly.
He goes, "What did you win like? Did you save a woman's life or something?" And it's on the news. Like, and the first pass, I throw it over the middle. I thought I overthrew. This is when you see a guy who's an athlete. I thought I threw it way too far. Terrell Owens was on my team. Terrell Owens accelerated like there was an engine coming out of his ass in the sand, blew by everybody, and caught the pass. It made it look like I threw a perfect pass when I thought I overthrew it. He got it, and I thought he was going to score a touchdown. It would have been one pass. TD, and I'm out. Fucking Deion Sanders catches him. It's flag football, gets a flag. Yeah. So now I got to do it again. And if you know my life, I'm inconsistent. I'm capable of doing that. All these big cheers. Montana high fives me. Next play, I'm getting rushed by Maria Menounos of Entertainment Tonight. Okay, she's in my face yelling like ah, and I panic. And she flushes me out of the pocket, and I throw it blindly to what I thought Terrell Owens would just catch it again, and Snoop Doggy Dogg intercepted the pass, and then they scored a touchdown. So I blew the game.
I'm not very sports savvy.
That's Joe Matarese. I blew the game where I could have been the hero. Snoop Dogg.
Of DirecTV.
Well, the crowd was going nuts. Snoop Dogg, again, you talk about, we were going to get into like...
what was Snoop Dogg doing on DirecTV?
He was playing in the Beach Bowl. You get like celebrities, certain celebrities, it's mostly C-listers, but A-list guys come by, and Snoop played all 3 years. Unbelievable football player.
He played high school.
Yeah. And, but again, we're going to talk about, Gerald, by the way, from Detroit, has admitted that it was a sham. Shit. Yeah, he really wasn't in a car accident. He texted me, and someone found it out on Twitter, and we'll get into that, how Gerald has really ruined it for Black Artie Lang fans. And how this is setting his race back within my fan community. And how sometimes black guys are allowed to get away with stuff, and it's a different kind of racism. The corporations will give a black guy who's broken the law an ad campaign when they won't give a white guy an ad campaign because they feel, okay, we're being compassionate, when really they're being racist. And it's a type of racism. And God bless Snoop Dogg, take the money, all these guys. But it's like them going, we expect you to fuck up.
It's part of their culture.
It's such a different kind of racism. But Snoop takes the money like I would, but I think he's smart enough to realize that. This is an example of it, the Beach Bowl. We had rules because kids were there watching on DirecTV, 5-year-old kids. They said, don't do anything rated R, no finger, no yelling. Okay, Snoop Dogg scores a touchdown in the first quarter. The camera goes on him, there's kids watching. He starts to roll an imaginary joint, an enormous joint like this, a big spliff. The place goes nuts, and they take the camera off him. Go, what are you doing? It's drug usage. They scold him. But fine, he's in the game, whatever. After I threw the interception, he scores on the next play. Second time, doesn't roll a big joint. Slowly starts putting the football into the sand. No one wants to think maybe he's going to kick it or something. He then gets behind it, starts fucking the football, doggy style. Fuck it! He's like slowly going, like
Snoop Doggy style.
Right, that's what he was doing. Snoop Doggy style. He's fucking the football, and they're like, well, what? Like, did you get the camera off him again? And he's just not obeying the rules.
Yeah, I'd be good.
And he was like, not scolded or thrown out when I feel I would have been.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for fucking the football. An imaginary joint, and he fucked the football. But again, it proves Snoop Dogg one of the coolest guys on the planet. So I played with her, not that year, but in the third one that was in New York. The Super Bowl in New York was my last year on DirecTV. She played in that game. And first of all, she was very sweet, very nice, but she was catching passes that were thrown pretty hard. She was a good athlete, but I don't know what I saw her in before. But
here's her story. She was born in St. Thomas. She stated that the best part of growing up there were the friendly people, the great weather, and waking up to the sounds of waves on the beach every day.
So
then she went to model for Ralph Lauren, right. FHM,
of course.
Victoria's Secret.
So we have a similar story.
Yeah.
She's a good-looking person. Who grew up in St. Thomas. Was St. Thomas French? What is that?
It's American.
It's American.
Americans in the Caribbean.
Okay. Yeah, because she spoke very good English. I had, for some reason, I thought she was foreign. I thought she was from a different country. And then, like in the football game, she was screaming that we should run a high pick and roll. And I explained wrong sport, but she said it very, very, very articulately.
She had a bit part in the movie Vacation, the remake.
Yeah, she played the new Christy Brinkley. Like in the Ed Helms looks at the. Mm-hmm. By the way, what happened to that? Did that bomb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna last.
Good question. Listen, as a Yankee fan, I hope the prenuptial agreement is like makes the Iliad by Homer look like a pamphlet. I mean, it better be. Again, Jeter did it right. what I was trying to say before. Yeah, if he was in 20 years, the Yankee shortstop and captain, clutch hitter, 5 rings, fucked every year and a half. He fucking cleaned out the girlfriend garage. And it seemed like every year there was a different smoking hot A-list model or actress that his parents had to make small talk with in that booth. Do you know how many? They were always sitting right next to his parents.
So Ivana.
Right, exactly. Do you know the mother is? Do you know how many fucking vacuous fucking Hollywood stories that mother had to sit through? Like, so Minka, you're in a Fast and Mad show or something? Fast and Furious. We're very excited about it. It's a film.
So you haven't eaten bread in 10 years. That's very impressive.
It started with Mariah Carey was the first one. Then it was like Vanessa Maniliello from fucking whatever the fuck, MTV. Then I remember it was Minka Kelly, Jordana Brewster. You know how smoking she is? Eventually she got that. But they were always sitting next to his parents and a different chick every year for the World Series.
Do you think they thought they were special? Like, I get to meet his parents.
Yeah, right. Because you're at the World Series. You're not in their kitchen. So that's the ones we know about. Forget about these nights I heard about with the 5 chicks in his bedroom. How often did that happen? And he never gets married, never is tied down, never looks like a scumbag. Like A-Rod got married young, looked like a dirtbag because he cheated on his wife the last 3 years of the marriage. He's with a stripper. He's got kids. He looks like a scumbag. Jeter never went through that because he did it the right way.
But he trades in his Ferrari every year, though.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So is he gonna be okay with just having one model?
Excellent point. Now he's 42, little older. He also was smart enough to realize when you retire from baseball, you're still a young man. You could have kids. Like Springsteen kind of did a version of it, except for that marriage to the redhead in '85. I don't know what that. He clearly got out of that quick because it was miserable. But he, Springsteen did the road for a bunch of years. Then at 43 got married. 45 had a kid. Had a few. He started at 43, and then probably fucked everything on the planet on the road for 20 years. Jeter did the baseball version of that, without even the glitch of the marriage. Like Bruce showed a weakness with a marriage in '85. Jeter never even did that. And he's smart enough to realize, I'm still a young man. I can do this. I'm healthy.
This might be his glitch.
20 years from now, we could look back at this as the glitch. It might be misery. You're right. I don't know if
I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, I know. This could be a bad move for both of them. We could look back and it's tragic. They have kids that turn out like me.
She's going to want to do vacation too.
Right.
And she's going to be tied down.
Well, I can remember, as a Springsteen fan, right after that happened, he got married in '85 to this redhead model. She was doing Fletch Lives with Chevy Chase. She was in that. And Bruce was on the road in like Europe. I'm going like, the guy who wrote Backstreets and Thunder Road is not putting up with the Fletch Lives script. She probably same exact thing. I got this offer, but I can't go on tour with you. It's Fletch Lives, big opportunity. It's Chevy Chase. She's
You're holding me back.
Yeah, it's. You're right. She's going to be having those conversations. Do you know who Ed Helms is? No. Why? You weren't watching The Office? No, I was always fucking somebody during The Office. I was either playing a baseball game or having sex with somebody while The Office was on. So he's real funny. We're bantering back and forth. The rehearsals are great, and I don't know. You're right.
Want to run lines with me?
No, Don Zimmer's going to run lines with you. Don, he was the coach. He's a big fat guy. Yeah, he's going to run lines with tobacco. All right, I'm Ed Helms, honey. Come on now. Let's run this. Come on, honey. Let's run this. What are you doing now? Hey, you're looking hot. I'm married. Sure, you're looking hot. Come on now. Derek wants you to improv with me. Don Zimmer runs lines. Huge fat Don Zimmer with a plate in his head. All right, now, we're going to run some lines. Oh, keep it up now. Hustle it up here, honey. Come on, Hannah. No, I don't believe you. I don't believe you're driving a Ferrari. I don't believe this at all. You're supposed to be Southern. You sound like me. Derek's out. He'll be back. He went out with a comedian. That's fucking hilarious, Don Zimmer. I'm sorry, I'm cracking myself up thinking of Don Zimmer. Yeah, the Don Zimmer just does everything that she like. That beside all Jeter does is fuck her. Don Zimmer does everything else with her. Don Zimmer's gonna go to your sister's wedding. I don't want to go. Come on, Hauser Buffet. What's going on? Yeah, I'm Don Zimmer. I'm here with Hannah. Yeah, Derek couldn't make it. He's out with a comedian. Apparently, they're at the Sound Factory. He couldn't make it, so I'm here in St. Thomas. Is there like a cocktail hour or something? Come on, honey. Yeah, we got. Here's your gift. Where's your sister? This is from Derek. It's Bernie Williams' third CD. It's a jazz CD. It's Hey, what else you got going? You got a sister? Who's the bridesmaids? I was told to say hi to the bridesmaids. Are we done here? Derek's sending a jet. We can get out of here tonight. There's a dinner tomorrow for what? Your parents are having a brunch. Oh, shit. Derek didn't tell me that. You want me there? Let me call Derek. How do you use these things? Goddamn. Derek! Don! Listen, she wants me to go to some brunch tomorrow. Should I do that? All right, I'll keep an eye on it. I'll be at the brunch tomorrow. I need another suit for that. All right, he's going to FedEx me a suit. We're good. You need anything? You need shoes or something? All right, Derek's going to FedEx you some shoes. What's your name, Jimmy Choo? Yeah, it's Don Zimmer. I'll just send the shoes to the hotel. What's your name? What? You Jimmy Choo? What do you do? Oh, you make shoes, yeah. I'm Don Zimmer. Baseball. Is this Steve Madden? You related to John? John Madden. Football? No. You sound a little light in the loafers there. Don Zimmer does everything else with it. Except fucker. That's in the prenup. It says when he's not fucking you, everything else that he's required to do as a husband will be done by Don Zimmer.
Apple picking.
All right, we're going apple picking. I got the car, picking her up here, Derek. I'm with her. Where are you? You're still at the Sound Factory. It's been 5 days. Oh wait, you're at location 2? Gotcha. Yeah, no, well, we'll take her over there. Apple picking, yeah. She's happy. Yeah, that fruit from Jimmy Choo called. Yeah, I got the shoes.
Mark Grace used to go take him to the animal shelter to think they were to pick out a dog together.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, she wants a dog. All right. Yeah, Derek says we can get a dog for you. What do you want? Shar-Pei or something. Some Jap dog. That's a magic marker, isn't it, honey? No, Shar-Pei. Well, Sharpie. I was still thinking Sharpies. Yeah. We'll be back Tuesday or something. All right, you just clean that up, you know. All right. Yeah, that Mexican will take care of the sheets. Nah, she can't hear me. She's with her sister picking fucking apples. I tell you, man, I'm earning my money this weekend there. I don't know what a Washington apple is. Delicious. I don't know what the fuck's going on here, but I tell you, she is something else. Piece of ass. Well done, buddy. You've had some buttes. I'm with her parents. I've got to know them really well, yeah. Ed and Madge. Yeah. They are asking about you quite a bit, though. You know that. They wonder where you are. Well, they know about the agreement, right? I got a feeling Madge is upset. Ed seems fine. I don't know. I'll never stop thinking about it. Apple picking. Yeah, the Halloween costume. She wants to go over that. Are you willing to go to a party? Oh, I'll be going to that party. I'll be going to the Halloween party with her. What are you going as? Well, she wanted to go. You both were going to go, I think, as Hansel and Gretel. You want me to be Hansel? All right, we're still going to do it, but I'll be Hansel, honey. We just got to let out the Hansel costume. Anna Davis. Anyway, so that's where we think that the marriage will go. What balls.
It's impressive he could do all that from the grave. Oh.
Is he dead?
Yeah. Tim's dead.
Listen, I'm dead.
Popeye's dead.
Did you know I'm dead? What When did Don Zimmer die?
I think 2 years ago.
Okay, for the purposes of this bit, he's alive. Suspend your belief. No, it's great. This is Zeppo Zimmer. It's his brother. Oh, God.
And if she ever lost him, all she had to do was find a magnet.
He did. I had a plate in his head.
Yeah.
He got hit with a pitch in 1938. Oh, my God. I can't stop.
What kind of plate?
They put, what do they put?
38. What are they putting in your head?
Yeah, they put something in my head. That's a plate of some kind. I don't know.
Leftover from dinner.
I just know, I could tell you 3 days before it's going to rain. No, we're not playing the Twins Saturday. No, it's going to rain. I don't care what he said. Yeah. Oh, God. All right. Okay, for that bit, of course, pretend he's alive. So there's that. The Gerald in Detroit. What do we think? What do we think about that, guys? I mean, let's go to Flippin' and Dan. I have to read I wanted him to come on. First of all, Ryan is an outsider. You heard that?
An outsider?
I mean, well, no. I mean, you're just coming on, sort of getting to know these people. Is there a mentally ill, scary person who makes up that kind of lie? Should we be like? What are your thoughts on Gerald lying on this level?
I feel like it fits right in line with your fan base. To be honest, I feel like wow. I feel like
Ouch.
I didn't.
Hey, listen, he's right. As long as I got the 695.
I mean, we're shocked. Oh my God! How dare you, sir?
Gerald, you're not only ruining it for the blacks, you're ruining for the Artie Lang.
The Artie Lang show is an institution.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I don't know, but this is really. I mean, he faked the picture. The picture was. He sent us a picture of a burning SUV. I don't think he even has a car.
I'm surprised he put that much work into it. I feel like it's a
I guess
project.
yeah. On the internet, it is easy these days for con men. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, again, and we did. He had the balls to do this. Could you imagine? This is how brazen he was. He sent us an audio tape. He claimed that not only did he have a picture of a burning car, he claimed this was audio of him trying to get out of the car. And you know the show. We've played this before. How could he think we'd fall for this? He sent this audio claiming this is him trying to get out of the burning car. Gerald.
Oh, shit. Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus. Oh, shit. Whoa. That was awesome. That was awesome right there. God, no.
That was the one pulling him out of the car.
Shit. Oh, shit. Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Get the water, nigga. Jesus Christ. Lord have mercy. Get the water, nigga. It's going down. Oh, the motherfucking bootleg fireworks shit. Oh, shit.
Come on. Come on, Gerald. We've played this before. How could you think we'd fall for that? I thought it was Pierre Paul. And of course, it wasn't Pierre Paul. But Gerald made me think that, really, using a stock footage and then that audio that we played before, Gerald.
Did he really send you that audio?
No. That audio is a real guy in Texas who months ago, I got played a joke on by the guys here. They made me think that was, Pierre Paul and the Giants blew his hand off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So when that happened, I came in. It's the greatest joke ever. I came here to do the podcast, and Paul Marcy, a great comic, and Dan said, there's audio of the Pierre Paul thing. And they played that for me. And for about a minute, I thought that was Pierre Paul and the Giants. Yeah.
He's supposed to play this weekend, by the way.
I saw he's got the bandage. But when I said, my God, I guess political correctness does go out the window when you're on fire. So, I don't know.
Get the water, nigga.
That guy, I would love to get that guy on the show. I hope he's alive. But we put that guy in the Hindenburg. We had a lot of fun with the piece of tape. We call it fun with audio. So Gerald, I mean, again, the Gerald thing, I think it's really a terrible thing, obviously, but I don't know. He seems very apologetic. I don't know what is. He claims he wasn't trying to get any money, people on Twitter are really, really all over him, and I don't know.
What do you want? What was the back end of this?
I don't know. People claim he wanted money, right?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, Dan? I mean, did he claims he didn't want money.
I don't know.
You have no opinion on this?
I'm just, I'm stunned. I really am stunned because it wasn't, he had total access to us. It wasn't like we banned him from anything.
Yeah, because the other thing people on Twitter said, he wanted to use this to let Artie get him to open for Artie. You don't think I would have found out by then? Like I would have fell for it.
Would have been a great opener to come
When
out
we
in a
wheeled him on
wheelchair.
stage?
Yeah, just in a wheelchair.
I still got the knee, man. I still got the knee. I mean, the elaborate lie of like, I know. Okay, well, Dan, just tell me, just call him. Dan Salato. Dan's producing the show.
Thanks,
Like,
guys.
Just call Harry. Well, Harry Shearer, we're about to call, the legendary Harry Shearer. We have to call him at 3, but I don't know. It's very odd when someone lies on this level. It is. So you don't know. But yeah, what could his possible motive be?
I think a lot of these people on Twitter are just need that involvement somehow, that energy, that juice of like people are asking about me or worried about
Does
me.
he? Doesn't he have a? He never. I agree with you, but he never struck me as being in that category. Does he have a? I thought he had kids. No, I
don't know. I'm not really that sure to what extent his story is, but at the same time, I think a lot of these people, at some level, they crave involvement, and I think radio's like that too. You sort of become part of the show family and all that kind of thing, and we love it.
There's different levels of that.
But I guess you could take it too far because I mean, it didn't seem at the front end of it that he was looking for money. It just seemed like he wanted attention. He wanted people to be like, "Oh, get well soon. We care about you. We want you to feel better."
Well, that makes it odder. Like he just wanted people to be affectionate to him.
I don't know. Maybe he did want money.
He's in his early 40s and he wants to be a comic, and he was doing open mic stuff, and I don't know.
So you're saying he's mentally fine?
Yeah.
He's in a good place.
Just not. Yeah, he's not. Again, no, he's not in a good place.
Really tired and depressed.
That's Joe checking in. He texted me a very detailed apology. What are we doing here, Dan? Should we have?
We're going to call him now.
Do you want me to stop the show for a second?
No, we're fine.
Okay. Harry Shearer, legendary Harry Shearer, most of you know as Mr. Burns and Ned Flanders, along with other voices on The Simpsons. Again, as a comedy fan, I pinch myself that I have a relationship with Harry Shearer. The guy is as funny as a person can get, I think, on the writing standpoint, doing characters, impressions, his opinions on stuff, political shit, sketch comedy. He co-wrote and was one of the creators of and the stars of this is Spinal Tap, and then toured with Spinal Tap. Wrote Real Life with Albert Brooks in the 70s. Is just one of those guys that people in comedy, especially from that era, all the original SNL guys, Albert Brooks.
He was in an Abbott and Costello film as a child.
That's right. He was also, another amazing thing is he was a kid actor. He was in a movie called The Robe, a very classic sort of dramatic religious film, and he was also in an Abbott and Costello. He worked with Abbott and Costello, and he's got great stories about that. And he just accepted a part in a movie. I assume he gets offered a lot of movie roles, and he turns a lot of them down because he's got all that Simpsons fuck you money. I mean, that's the other big story about him. He's been in the news the last few months because he was the last holdout in the Simpsons cast to come back on for the 58th year. And he held out and finally said yes. And so I think, what is it, the 28th season? Something like that?
Hey, buddy.
And
I'm going to put you on hold.
he said yes, finally, to that. So we're going to talk to him about that. But this film he said yes to is actually Ed Helms and Owen Wilson, a buddy comedy.
How do you think Tracy Ullman feels about that?
That's right.
Because that show started during her show.
Yeah. Well, she just was. It just happened. Yeah. She was asleep at the wheel there. Is Harry here? Harry. Hey, you're on the air, man. It's Artie. How are you, bud?
I'm all right. How are you?
Great. Thanks for taking the time. Ryan Reese is here, another comic who does the show a lot, and of course Dan and James Flippin. You're in New Orleans, I'm told.
I'm in New Orleans, yes, sir.
What I know you have through Danny, of course, you have several homes. How do you How do you choose where and when? Is it just like play it by ear?
Whichever makes me farthest away from Dan at any point.
Yeah, listen, I understand that now.
Yeah,
I mean,
you get it. You get out your protractor and you figure it out.
Agreed. I mean, I'm living with the guy now.
Yeah.
But you're right. Is it just sort of
don't bend over for the soap. That's all I can say.
you play it by ear with these?
No, I mean this is my home, so
New Orleans is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know, if I'm not working in London or LA, then I'm usually here. That's how it sort of works out. But I've been working in London a lot for the last 3 years.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, doing mostly what? Is that the Nixon thing you did?
I did the Nixon TV
right.
series. Then I did a stage play for a couple of years, and I just did a documentary for the BBC, radio documentary on New Orleans 10 years after the flood. So.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, Harry, I apologize that I hadn't really seen the Nixon thing you did in full the last time we spoke. But my good friend Norm Macdonald had contacted me, and he told me how obsessed he was with it, how amazing it was, and he couldn't stop watching it. And I sort of got me off my ass to watch it on the road, actually, doing stand-up. I got out the computer and learned how to use it and watched it. Unbelievable! That is an unbelievably fascinating project, and
it's good road watching, isn't it?
No, it's really a unique thing and a unique idea. I mean, it's basically. Did you not change a word? It's basically
not only didn't change a word. Studied with the cast as we were rehearsing the pauses and the inflections. So look, we were given the greatest gift any group,
right?
Any group of actors could ever be given. This is what they actually said, and this is how they actually said it. So I felt it was. To only give it the proper respect to not change anything,
It's basically, it's especially someone from your generation to have these sort of lost Nixon tapes come on. So you had to cast people to be everyone else he was speaking to. Like, who else exactly was in?
There was Haldeman and Ehrlichman, who were his two aides, the two Germans, and then the third German, who was, of course, Henry Kissinger.
Right.
And that was the craziest. I mean, we had this wonderful British actor who did Henry Goodman, who did a crazy good Kissinger, and we just got into when you do that. I mean, the stuff is given to you, but. It doesn't say where people are standing or what they're doing. So as actors, and to try to visualize it, that's where we got to be a little free to, okay, he's over here, and he's over there, or he's got his back to him, stuff like that. And as we're working that out, Henry and I are just amazed at the layers of bullshit in this relationship. Nixon hates Kissinger because Kissinger is a Harvard professor and a Jew.
Right.
Kissinger hates Nixon because Nixon hates him.
Right.
They're both really smart guys. They're using each other. Kissinger, I actually went, after I did that series, a friend of mine invited me to a dinner in Washington celebrating the 100th anniversary of Nixon's birth. So it was all the dead enders were there.
Right.
And Kissinger gave the keynote speech, and he's 89 years old at this point, and he says, I just wanted to say what a great president Mr. Nixon was because he let me run the country. So he's still at it,
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Do you see any similarities kind of like Dick Cheney and George W. Bush?
Well, I think Nixon was a lot smarter than George W. Bush.
I mean, a lot of people are. Yeah,
that's not. Yeah, I know.
Right.
This ashtray was smarter than George W. Bush.
Right.
So it wasn't quite the two spiders in a bottle that it was with Nixon and Kissinger. It was like a spider and a fly in a bottle with Cheney and Bush.
Yeah, it's sort of that's what is fascinating about it, that they're taping themselves. Like at every moment, obviously they know they're being taped, right?
Well, no, nobody knows the tapes exist at that time except Nixon.
Oh, Nixon's the only guy, right?
Nixon's the only guy, and even he forgets. And then suddenly, all of a sudden, you'll hear him saying things like, "But Artie, that we never did that." And then all of a sudden, you realize, he's playing to the microphone.
What is there one sort of thing when you heard those tapes, for the first time? What sort of was there anything that really stood out that you couldn't believe? Like totally,
just the craziness. I got into this project because I when the tapes first came out, I went to the library and listened to them. Crazy fan, like like people stand in line to get autographs from Star Wars people. I
Right.
So I'd slap on the earphones and listen to this shit. And I'd heard all the Watergate stuff, and I kind of took that in already. But then there was this one conversation, these minor little scandal at the beginning of this administration, and these involving the dairy lobby. And he's got a meeting with these dairy lobbyists, and I put on the headphones thinking, all right, I'm going to hear some crap about the scandal. And instead, this is a scene that's in the pilot episode of the series. Nixon starts lecturing them on, I was reading in the Reader's Digest the other day, milk can be a sleep aid, it can help you sleep. I mean, people have so much problem sleeping these days, but it doesn't have to be lukewarm. It could be cold. It could be warm. And he's just, these guys are sitting there like, what the hell did we walk into here?
The president.
And it's just this stream of unconsciousness rap about marketing milk as a sleep aid. Now, we learn later that Nixon is taking drugs because he can't sleep. Right. So this is on his mind a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think these guys knew that. They just knew, what the hell are we wasting an hour in the White House?
Yeah, they're literally in the Oval Office listening to that.
This is on the meter. These are all scenes that happen, on our dime.
Right. So you know what fascinated me about, I don't know, the healthcare thing, when he first realizes like Kaiser Permanente, that part of one of the tapes where he goes, where he's talking about a guy doing it for profit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about in one of the tapes?
Vaguely.
It's not, obviously it's not in what you covered, but it's it's a tape. It's on one of the tapes where he realizes it's in the Michael Moore documentary about healthcare.
Right.
He talks about how this Kaiser Permanente fella, he's doing this for profit. He's doing it for let's just let him do it. You could see him sort of plotting out everything that ended up going wrong.
Well, there's a scene in our show where he's sitting with, I think it's Chuck Colson, who is the guy who said he would, walk over his grandmother's body to help Nixon.
He was the special counsel of the president, Colson.
Yeah, he was real special.
Right, that's what he was called.
He was so special he served time.
Yeah.
That was how special he was. But they're talking about, or it's Haldeman. Anyway, he's talking about, these, we got to screw the networks. And, one way we could screw them is if we set up our own news operation.
Right.
And they're sitting there talking, bullshitting about what ends up becoming Fox
News. Absolutely.
And of course, Roger Ailes worked in that White House. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Listen, there was a total market for it just to go for that angle.
Oh
yeah. No, it's unbelievable. Again, how do people find it now? Is it on?
It's on YouTube for free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Pretty cool, man. I would recommend that to anybody. Now we got the modern day version of all this stuff. You talk about George W. Bush, Jeb Bush. I mean, my God, I didn't realize how really booby, like, I don't know other word, like he's just a boob. I never realized how much he was like that. He makes his brother really seem together and
charismatic.
Charismatic. Well, yeah. I mean, someone's got to pull him aside and go, listen, you almost have to drop out. It's at the point where, like, third-rate reporters are goofing on him in interviews.
Yeah. I just read today his campaign got him to sign up with this guy who Roger Ailes, the aforementioned Roger Ailes, uses to consult with his anchors on making them shine better on TV.
Yeah.
That's going to work out,
The guy who created Brett Baer's charisma.
Yeah, it's like putting shoe polish on a pair of old Converses. That's going to work out just fine.
I mean, he's got the Trump.
He's low energy. Low energy. What are you saying? He's low energy? He's low energy.
What about the Trump thing, man? What is your take on that?
I got 3 words about that.
Yeah.
He's a celebrity.
Yeah.
Right. The same reason that people watch that stupid fucking boring murder trial for 8 months 20 years ago. He was a celebrity.
Yeah.
These are things that happen with celebrities,
Well, Now, I know on your radio show you had talked about exactly what Barack Obama said the other day. You had talked about the fact that no one was pointing out, these guys, how they're going to talk to the leaders of the world when they can't
I know.
deal with
Everybody jumped on that one, man.
Right.
I said, boy, they're gonna stand up to Putin, but they can't. They're scared of Becky Quick, and that just went all over the place. Yeah, Chris Christie picked that up too.
You're a guy who could, most people just sound obnoxious when they say that could have been stolen, but it's definitely very believable that people in the White House that advise Obama probably, it's very believable they listen to your show and maybe pick that up.
You put that stuff on Twitter, you're saying, please steal me.
Right. Oh, you put it on Twitter too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or no, I think I said it in an interview in Rolling Stone. That's where it came from.
Yeah, and
that was before the radio show.
Now, what about you were doing Trump and Howard? Did you say there were similarities between Trump and Howard Stern?
I just said that Trump and Howard are the two best known guys with a Queen's accent. People don't think there's a Queen's accent. Say listen to Howard and listen to Donald Trump, and you'll hear a Queen's accent.
Yeah, because until you pointed that out, and especially working with Howard, for all those years, I always thought to myself, and it's maybe because I'm so Jersey sounding, I always thought Howard did beat the Queen's thing. It doesn't sound like he sounds.
Oh God, no, he didn't beat the Queen's thing.
Yeah, but when you say it like that, I'm like, yeah, I guess that makes total sense. But Trump, you think of him as this waspy aristocrat, but my God, he sounds like a Queen's thug almost a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's funny about that, isn't it?
No, I mean, it's just there's none of that sort of.
No, there's nothing classy about him.
Right.
He's nothing classy about. But every once in a while, somebody pipes up and says, "Well, when he built Trump Tower, he built it out of concrete, and that was the most mobbed-up union in New York." So.
Well, yeah, you got to make a lot of concessions when you're building in New York.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to know people. What do you think's going to happen?
I make great deals with mobsters. What do you want?
What do you think's going to happen? Is there an end to this, or is he going to get this nomination? Is there going to be an end to the madness, or what's going to happen?
I'm one of those people who think that I take him at his word. He's in it about the brand,
right?
And the brand is about winning, and it's not good for the brand if he doesn't win. So I think I got to spend more. He's already saying, I wasn't a really good father. I wasn't a really good husband to my first two wives. He's already laying the groundwork for I got to spend more time with this woman, whoever she is.
You know what? That's a good point. Yeah, they do sort of go in and go, okay. You could tell if you look way back, especially with politicians, they do sort of, if they're smart enough, plant seeds for something they're going to say later on.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So they can point and say, I said this back then. I don't know what her name is, but I want to spend more time with her.
Well, that's clear. I mean, it looks like they really don't even know each other when they're in public. She looks aggravated. I don't think she has any interest in being in that White House. She doesn't want to do anything.
That's good. There's good news for her.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I mean, clearly she doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
She's like, what do you mean? I got to start doing shit?
Yeah, she just wants to be photographed against pink marble.
Pretty much. She looks good with it.
Yeah.
So The Simpsons, man. What are we going to the 28th year now?
We are in season 28. Yeah, no, 27.
And now you were.
You know how you tell? You just slice it open and count the rings.
Yeah, I mean it really is unreal at this point. But you were sort of, you were the last cast member to sign up, and it was in the news. Were you ultimately happy with what happened there?
Yeah, if I wasn't happy, I wouldn't have gone back. I mean, there was nothing stunty about that. That was real. And there were things that had to be solved, and they got solved.
But from their standpoint, though, I mean, what do they do without you there? It's kind of like I think they'd have to scramble a little bit. It's
well, we know now that they didn't reach that bridge because despite what was being said early on, they never actually. And despite the best efforts of Ted Cruz, they never actually auditioned anybody to replace me.
Yeah, how do you audition? What are they going to do? To me, that's comical to think they're going to.
Well, it was. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the whole Ted Cruz thing. I mean, the idea that Ted Cruz made his most memorable contribution in the presidential campaign would be his audition for Mr. Burns.
Yeah, that might be the only guy to go with.
Yeah.
What do you sign up for? How many years did you commit to?
It's 2 years, and then there's 2 more possible. So an option, 2 more option years.
What is your schedule like with that, Harry? Like, what do you have it down to? You go to L.A. Do you have to?
I don't have to go to L.A.
You don't have to be there. Yeah.
No, contrary to what somebody was printed during all of the controversy, I can't do it over the phone.
Right.
But there are studios in other cities, and so where I'm working on other things, I go into studios and do. It's usually a show a week,
Right.
And I've just written my first episode.
Oh, no kidding! That's great. So
I mean, it only took 27 years, but you work hard enough, and you scratch and you learn. I just wrote. It's going through the rewrite process right now, and I guess we'll read it. The last script read through of the year.
How close are you to the other cast members? I mean, are you?
Well, closer than to Filato.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah. Well, I don't have to figure out how far, which house to be in to be far away. No, I mean we're not a clan. We're not a tribe. We all have different projects that we work on. We don't do the show. We rarely are together for the recording sessions. I mean, in the first 10, 15 years we were. But, fortunately, at least in my case, career things started saying, you come here now, you do this. So that wasn't possible anymore. I mean, the time, by 92, which was year 3 or 4, we did a Spinal Tap tour, and that was the first time we sort of broke away from everybody in the room at the same time.
I mean, it's pretty amazing for a guy like you to have such a great sort of main job that allows you to do these other amazing creative things.
It's insane.
No, it is. It really is. As a fan of comedy, you go, well, here's a guy. It's that you'd hope would have time to do other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I mean, you're too young, Artie,
right.
to remember Mort Saul.
I know Mort Saul well, of course.
Okay.
Newspaper in his hand.
Huh?
Newspaper in his hand when he did stand-up, right?
So, but Mort Saul's version of this was he wrote jokes for presidents.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay, that was his gig, and you're right.
Yeah, but that let him continue to make fun of them. He tells. He's on Periscope, doing a live set every Thursday night from Marin County, and he tells this story about when he was writing jokes. George H.W. Bush asked him to write jokes for George W. He says because he has no sense of humor.
Right.
And
wow.
Saul goes in to meet with him, and did he my dad tell you I have no sense of humor? Saul says yes. He says, well, that's because I was born again. When I discovered that my way to heaven was through accepting Lord Jesus Christ as my Savior. And Mort quotes himself as saying, well, that's kind of a high bar. Jesus couldn't have gotten into heaven. And Bush says, what do you mean? And Mort says, well, he was Jewish. And he says, Bush sat for a moment and thought, and then he finally said, well, they're not making Jews like they used to.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. How old is Mort Saul? You could see Mort Saul doing a set on YouTube.
On Periscope.
Oh, on Periscope.
Yeah, he's like 88.
That's amazing. I didn't know. So he does a set of stand-up.
But he's sitting down.
From Marin County.
Yeah, every Thursday night at like 7 L.A. time.
Oh, my God, I got to check that out. That's unbelievable.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Does he still, hold the newspaper and all that stuff? Does he still do the...
No, he doesn't. It's hard to find a newspaper these days.
That's true. Does he hold a laptop?
Yeah, he holds an iPad. He rolls up an iPad. That's the amazing.
Yeah, boy, that stories like that about again. You wouldn't think a brother of Bush could make him look good, but Jeb Bush really succeeded.
Well, there was the brother that swindled a savings and loan in Colorado. Neil.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, he made George W. look at least honest.
Yeah, he seems smart.
Yeah.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about The Simpsons that you wrote? Like, what did you?
I could tell you a little bit about the plot,
Right.
because it's being rewritten as we speak. But it's basically about Kent Brockman has been doing, in addition to the 6 o'clock news, he's been making appearances on variety shows and Ellen and things like that, late night shows,
Right.
and telling stories about his career as a newsman. And it's been revealed that they were lies, and so he's fired. And
Right, that's great.
the one that reveals that he was lying was he's on some show and talks about his abortive relationship with Nicki Minaj, and that's the one.
Oh, that's a great premise. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful world to examine. It's funny. I try to think of my favorite Simpsons episode ever. I won't. I don't know if you have one, but
Yes, I have two.
What are they?
The Three-Eyed Fish.
Okay.
And the season 9 when Homer swallows the pepper and encounters the psychedelic Johnny Cash.
Can't remember that. You know what I love? I love when Springfield gets a monorail. Early on, and I didn't realize. I was looking at it. It always was my favorite. I didn't realize that Conan O'Brien wrote that episode.
Oh, Conan was a writer on the staff for 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah, he that was that early on. But I remember watching it, not realizing it. Always telling people that was my favorite because I loved it so much. And Conan wrote that. A lot of people went through there. I don't know. Listen, I mean, I know it's something that you might be jaded about, but it's such an impressive piece of work, man, to be.
Listen, I'm not jaded. I have my issues with the Rupert Murdochs of the world,
right?
Of which there is one. But the fact is, you get into this business to hopefully have people see and hear your work, and to be part of like an insanely successful international television hit is nothing to be sneezed at.
Yeah. And again, when did you first start wanting to write an episode? You probably have been putting that off for a long time, right?
I offered to write in season 5, and they said, thanks, we're fine. And
okay, I was going to say, when did you offer it? I'm sure it was a long time ago.
Yeah, season 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't even think about it again, and it was sort of presented to me as something. Well, if you want to do this, so it wasn't my initiative, but I thought, okay, if I get a good idea, and then I got this idea. So.
Great. We'll definitely check that out, man. Thanks so much. Real quick at the end here, let's talk about this Christmas show that you're nice enough to let me be a part of again. That you and your wife do. I came to see it a few years ago when you did it in Lower Manhattan at the City Winery, and you let me come up and do a song. It's an incredibly unique thing, and you let me be part of it again this year.
We're delighted that we're not letting you, Artie. We're delighted to have you.
I'm in between. I'm looking at the bill. I'm in between Paul Schaefer and Fred Willard, which is a comedy sandwich you're not going to want to forget.
No kidding. Yeah. Hold the mayo.
So what do we got going on? When can?
Well, it's December 1st at BAM, the Opera House at BAM, which is the big house. It's like a 2,000-seater, beautiful room, and it's all sorts of people from music and comedy: Alan Cummings, Mario Cantone, Olympia Dukakis, Alfie Boe, Paul Schaefer, you, Bela Fleck, Peter Asher.
Wow.
I mean, it's ridiculous, and it's Judith and me, and it's the show is, and then we do other editions of it in outside Chicago at Space in Evanston on the 4th, and in L.A. on the 19th and 20th at the Largo, and in New Orleans on the 23rd at the Le Petit. So each city is a different cast of people that we know in that city that are gathered, and it's based on a party that Judith used to insist on having when she first moved to L.A. and was depressed at Christmas time because it was sunny and warm.
Right. She's from Wales, I believe.
She's from Wales.
Yes.
And she was disappointed that it wasn't cold and rainy. So, we came in from the sunshine and had a party and invited like Richard Thompson and other musical or comedy friends, and just sat around, and everybody did one or two pieces about the holiday season, either serious or funny. And then we ate and drank a lot, and then Judith made everybody sing Christmas carols. And that's really the format of the show.
Right, no, yeah, it's fun. It's just a fun hang. I saw it a couple of years ago, like I say, and I'm happy to be a part of this, man. It's awesome.
And it's important to say it is a benefit. It's always a benefit. This year it's for the Elton John AIDS Foundation because December 1st is World AIDS Day. So it's always done for a good cause.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. That means I won't be coming. You popped that on me just now.
But you'll be donating your car for it.
Of course. No, that's going to be fun, man. And I look forward to seeing you there. And
Same here.
Harry, listen, man, I appreciate you coming on always. And so at some point this season coming up, the show you wrote will air probably, right?
Yeah, pretty soon.
That's awesome.
It takes 8 months for them to get animated, so it'll be a little while.
Great. We'll look forward to that, too. And
Thanks.
again, the Nixon thing. Exactly how do you find it on YouTube? What is it? Just go to...
YouTube, just go into the search box at YouTube and go Harry Shearer, Nixon's the one.
Yeah, impressive stuff.
Thank you.
I'll see you in a couple of weeks, Harry. Thanks
right,
so
man.
much, and thanks for coming on, brother.
Thank you, as always.
The great Harry Shearer. That's a unique guy, man.
Impressive guy.
Yeah, very impressive. Unique guy. And again, in fact, through, of course, Dan Filato, the fact, if you would have told me at 18 years old I'd have a relationship with Harry Shearer and know him, and it would be, not sexual, that would be, it's pretty impressive. No, listen, again, this Christmas thing you just talked about, I am on the bill with, I'm in between Paul Schaefer and Fred Willard. What else is there to say? Peter Asher, the famous Peter Asher, producer, produced the Stones, and I think the Beatles, and crazy stuff on his resume. Harry Shearer, Judith Owen is his wife, a wonderful woman and great, talented Alan Cumming, Mario Cantone, Olympia Dukakis. So check that out at BAM in Brooklyn. It's December 1st.
I just remember at City Winery when we were standing on the side of the stage and this guy walked up and we both looked at him like we should know. And I think you said, "Boy, that looks like Donald Fagen." And all from Steely Dan.
From
and all
Steely
of a sudden,
Dan, yeah. He
was-
walked on stage and started. He sang 2 Steely Dan songs.
Yeah.
And because I'm a big Steely Dan guy, and Fagan was just hanging out and just went on stage. It's an interesting, great show, and of course Harry, and Judith hosted, and it's real entertaining. So thanks to Harry for coming on. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, a couple more things on the agenda. The Artie Lang Show. This is unreal. Did you see this? She was taking care of Bobby Christina. She was not a nurse.
Who? Just some random woman?
Yeah. She was her main care at the hospice. And she was not a nurse. She was an imposter.
Oh, she was an imposter.
Yes, not a nurse. She's being arrested. I mean, technically they get her on manslaughter, but they're just getting her on impersonating a nurse. Once again, leading the race.
Yes.
Jesus. And Jeter is
Fine example.
Like even when I do TV shows, like I'll show up and I know the producers and the writers really break my fucking balls. But
Right.
I go, who was here last time? They go, oh, it was a black guy. I go, did the producers even talk to him? They're like, no. They let him slide.
We're all fucked up, man.
Too much freedom.
Yeah, you're right.
Too much fucking
what you
freedom.
just said about being a big kid, if you're allowed to do, if you give most human beings that much rope, they'll fuck up. I mean, look, I haven't had to live like an adult lives in 22 years easily. It was as long as I was able to be on in certain places, I didn't have to fucking live like a person.
No. And
Mad TV was a job, but it wasn't like I would find out my time. Sometimes I had days off. Sometimes I had to be in at 9 p.m., 9 a.m., whatever the fuck. And being on Norm Show as a regular, but not a recurring. I was on every show, but being a supporting role on a sitcom like that, it's like retired work. There were days I had 3 lines. I didn't even have to bring, and they changed the jokes anyway. I just said them. And I got a check for $40,000 on Friday. Literally. My mother thought I was running guns somewhere. She couldn't believe. My father, you know how many rooms my father had a client make $40,000? My mother would shake when she saw the checks. Like, what are you doing for this money?
Yeah.
She goes, when I watch you on TV, that's what you're doing? Yeah. She goes, it's got to be something else.
guns?
Whatever the fuck it was. Another woman in denial. Anyway, so here we go.
Here it.
So Harry's 3 o'clock. All right.
I printed this out. There's part 1. Gerald just sent me a whole.
No, I got. You know what? I have it on my cell too. You know what? Don't print it out, Dan. That's better. Yeah, thank you.
This looks like Michelle Obama.
You know what I was about to say? That.
Goddamn Obamacare. Can't even get a real nurse anymore.
That's part of it. Your nurse, of course, may not be a nurse, but small price to pay.
Someone tweeted that Gerald dude was full of shit. Your thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. There's people believe me, there's definitely people in the Klan on this Twitter. All right.
Oh, shit.
All right, we're back. Flip, we're back. Thanks again to Harry Shearer. Interesting guy. And that Christmas show, again, is December the 1st in Brooklyn at BAM. Check that out. Again, so this the Gerald story, we had to cut it short because we had to call Harry. But there is an apology he texted Dan and I that I guess is for the podcast family, as he says. And I assume he wants us to read this. So I'll read it for him. Again, you know, we shouldn't get together. I mean, look, I forgave the guy. There's worse things you could do. It's very odd when you lie like this. And, you know, it is odd to think that he didn't do it maybe for some sort of financial gain, or at least his brother. I don't know what that would have been. It's a very flawed plan.
And of all the people that, you know, that check me out on Twitter or DM me, he would be the last one,
Right.
that I would have thought.
There is one glaring thing that would make me think he would do this. One thing I can think of, but nothing else except this one thing.
What would that be?
There's one thing. Again, again, there's a show called 8 Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. I did have a version of that I wrote called 1 Rule for Dating My Teenage Daughter, and it's similar situation. No, of course, we're talking about the fact that he's from Detroit. You're right. All joking aside, he seemed like he's a very good guy. He seemed like a loyal guy from the beginning. I don't know. Maybe his brother's got issues. He claims his brother concocted this with him. I don't know. But I feel, you know, I did like having him being part of the family here. And, you know, look, he's not Jared from Subway molesting kids. It could be worse, but it is. I could see where your anger is. And I appreciate people being upset for me, but I just don't know how he could have taken advantage of me. I'd like to think I'm not retarded and would have figured this out before I booked him to open for me in 8 cities. You fucking retard. There you go. See? All right, here's the Gerald apology. Artie, Dan, and the podcast fans. That's a total of 11 people. I'd like to apologize for my stupid actions these past few days. Although the injuries I sustained in a motor vehicle accident are real, I misled you guys about the events as they actually happened. There is no excuse to justify my actions, so I won't make any. My brother and I sat around while I'm on the mend and concocted the whole story. There's a think tank. I'd like to hear the inner workings of. Okay. Concocted the whole story. It started as something that we were spreading amongst our inner circle. Okay, well, I don't know what that sounds like a fun thing.
Welcome to the inner circle.
That sounds like a fun group of guys that play those kind of tricks on each other. For reasons...
Who hasn't done that, really?
For reasons only to be answered by my feelings of betrayal and disloyalty that I have put upon the family-like atmosphere you have created on the podcast. And then he ends it. Wait, okay, there's more. I'm sorry. This becomes the number one most stupidest thing.
Wait, I think someone else wrote the second page. The first page was so...
His brother.
The first page was like so beautiful.
Did someone exactly? Did Flava Flav take over on the second page? This becomes the number one... I know. Yeah, it does go from like... for reasons only to be answered by my feelings of betrayal and disloyalty that I put upon the family-like atmosphere you've created on the podcast. I'll say this. This becomes the number one most stupidest thing I've ever done. Holy mackerel. This is stupid. In a lifetime of stupid shit, this has to be number one. I've enclosed a list of stupid shit me and my brother have done. At 8 years old, we smoked a joint that we found on a park bench and stole an ice cream truck. Okay, let's not minimize the seriousness of this. I in no way did this to get anything from you or your listeners. Your generosity to me has always been unbelievable since day one. Dan, I apologize to you and Flippin for misleading you and any extra work I may have put upon you due to my actions. Well, not really a lot of work, right? We're fine. Yeah. Joe Matarese, way more. Not even close. And we haven't gotten anything close to an apology from Joe.
No.
My subscription was canceled only because in my heart I don't deserve to be a part of what you guys have created. But I know, but we'd rather have you $7. In our heart, we'd rather have you $6.95 a month. So, dude, come on. Loyalty comes number one to you, Artie, and I crossed the line. Dan, Flip, Artie, good luck to you guys. In the future. Sorry to have let you guys down, and more so to have ruined friendships. Fans are brutal. Well, I mean, in all honesty, let's not get delusional. I don't think we were ever friends. Fans are brutal. Sending messages any which way they can to anyone related to me, but it's cool. My friends and family are well aware of what an idiot I am. That's why. Listen, again, Gerald, I'm joking around, buddy. I appreciate the apology.
Hello, Gerald.
Yeah, again, if you could stop... If you could stop your actions at this, they don't get any worse and escalate to, a killing spree.
This thing's reading like a suicide note.
I know, exactly. He seems fine.
The shame I've brought upon my family.
Daddy needs a therapist.
Generosity.
I don't deserve this subscription.
I don't deserve this. Yeah, just don't go into a theater, kill 9 people, then you, and then it's all on me. No, honestly, again, Joe, we're kidding around, buddy, because again, I don't want you to go crazy with angst here and move on in life. You could listen to the show. You believe me. If everyone was truthful about the worst things they ever did, I'm sure you'd be one of the nicest guys with the subscription. Yeah. Who knows what the fuck these people have done, including me. If I were honest, this would be like the 8th worst thing I've ever done if I was honest. But again, get over it and try to move on and no hard feelings, all right? We appreciate it and really re-up the subscription, dude. Dan needs...
As your penance, you should buy your friends and family subscriptions.
Yeah, right. What about that? Yeah, exactly. And make sure you keep up every month because I doubt they will. Dan Filato. Yeah, I understand you. Yeah, but a lot of people are questioning that you were even in a motorcycle accident. So when you're ready, we do have Ed Torian booked. And he would like to talk to you about even the motorcycle. Gerald, how you doing? It's Ed Torian. Yeah, did you ever have sex with a colored girl? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's for somebody else. Have you, Gerald, ever owned a motorcycle? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting deceptive readings. Do you, Gerald, know what a motorcycle is? Have you ever owned something with a motor? Did you, in fact, concoct this scheme with your brother sitting alone one night? And did you definitely intend on not getting anything from Artie? Do you, Gerald, really think Artie is generous? Have you ever given your brother a Dutch oven? Have you, Gerald, ever stuck a digit in your brother's ass? While concocting this scheme, did you ever stick a digit in your ass? Nah, he was deceptive there. I think he stuck a digit in his ass. You guys are crazy. I don't know. You guys are nuts. I don't know why I come here. Could you tell Gary I got a shit? I was told, Gary told me on the phone I could use the bathroom. I was stuck in traffic. Is this? Is Will there? Can Will show me where the bathroom is? Are you, Gerald, in fact black? Would you describe yourself as an African American? Were you serious, Gerald, when you said you'd like to be the head of the black fan club? I don't think he's black, Artie. He has stuck a digit in his brother's ass, but he's not black. That's my reading. That's what I'm getting. Again, I'm holding in a shit gap for 2 hours. There's nowhere I could go. Can I use Howard's bathroom? That was a joke. So anyway, Ed Torian, he's going to grill you. And he's tough. Dan Filato. Did you, are you, Gerald, really feel it's necessary to apologize to Dan Filato? Yeah. Okay. You're
And we didn't understand what had happened.
Jesus Christ. There's endless drops now. My God, hours. So anyway, thanks for the apology, Gerald. Again, everything's fine. Don't beat yourself up. And on Twitter, don't go crazy here with the threats, trying to contact this family. But if you would like to come on with Ed Torian, that invite is open, right? Okay, we right here? Okay. Yeah.
I think it's cooling down for Gerald right now because Johan gave out his review of the new James Bond movie, so they're all talking about that now.
Who did what? What'd you
Johan
say?
in Sweden got to see the James Bond movie. He
Oh,
loved
okay.
it.
Big fucking news. Did you, Johan, see the James Bond? Yeah, I don't think so. It says here you saw, he didn't see James. In fact, he just saw Vacation 2 with Ed Holmes. Did you, Johan, is Derek Jeter, do you think Derek Jeter is getting married? Is Don Zimmer dead? Do you think I, Ed Torian, look good with an Italian horn around my neck? Do you like my chains? The John Paul Gaultier I'm wearing, do you find it attractive? Would you ever stick a digit in Howard Stern's ass? Gerald, are you in fact from Detroit, Michigan? It's going to be hard hitting. You know what he's like, Ed Torian, so you got to be ready. Gerald, we forgive you. Speaking of Stern stuff, again, the sour shoes impression. We got to talk. This was incredible. People sent me over the past summer. Sour Shoes got really popular on the Stern Show for doing an impression on me. He left some voicemails where he imitated me when I would call in sick for heroin to Gary because I was, going through heroin withdrawals. And my God, a couple of them I heard. I heard them live first, sitting for the news. I wasn't totally impressed. I didn't get it. But then over the phone. My God, Sour Shoes left a couple of messages as me that I thought were voicemails I forgot I left. They were that good. And a lot of people over the years tried to do an impression on me, and they just do that obnoxious, like, hey, yo. They don't get sort of nuanced with it. This is a very sort of nuanced, detailed impression that I got to say I'm fucking blown away by. Of course, we could never play him on Stern doing it because I wouldn't pirate Howard's show like that. I think there'd be starting a bit of a war I don't want to get into. But he did call into Mike Francesa's show. You know him from the show because Rod from Bayside pranked him a lot for you people from out of town. But Francesa is a New York sports legend on WFAN and a very arrogant guy when it comes to sports. And he doesn't take kindly to shenanigans. Which is why Rod from Bayside pranking him as making references to me in the DirecTV show was hilarious. And he knows my name because of that. And he was one of the guys after the Joe Buck thing really got on me. He was really insulted and offended by me on Joe Buck. He was like, I don't know, he gets on there, he starts talking about groups of people, the gays, I don't know. Really, really hard. I don't know, I felt bad for Buck. Really terrible. How do you do that? Very offensive. I hope we never see that guy again. Stuff like that. And guy talks about the Jets for a living. So anyway, Sour Shoes called in as me. When was this? Yesterday? Flip, when was this?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
So someone sent this to me. Holy shit, this is funny. He claims on Mike's advice, he lost a bet on the World Series, and he just talks about obviously sausage and peppers and stuff. But Francesa is going along with it. It's retarded what Sour Shoes is saying. Francesa goes along with it. Clearly, his producers are younger guys, and they're big Stern fans. I know that for a fact. and they would give him clues about me when Rod would call in. So they knew what was happening, and eventually you hear Francesa go, I don't know, you're not making any sense. And he goes, wait, oh, what, is he doing an impression of somebody? Oh, he is? Oh, this is all right, I'll get him off the air. And then he hangs up on it, but he really got on for a long time. And this is fun. So this is Sour Shoes as me calling Mike Francesa.
One trade so far. Artie in New Jersey. What's up, Artie?
Hey, what's up, Mike? Mike, I'm a long-time Yankee fan, but I got to tell you, and this happened in '86. I was listening at the time. I bet my buddy sausage and pepper sandwiches for the year that the Mets would come back and beat the Red Sox. Okay. Listening to you last week, I did the opposite. I bet the Royals would 2-0 lead on the Mets, and now I got a year long of mozzarella and gabagool, and I feel bad because did you hear what Christie said about the Royals?
What did he say?
What?
About them Royals. He kept calling the answering machine saying that, and it was crazy. But I got gabagool, I got gabadelli.
I guess this guy's doing. Is he doing an impersonation of somebody? Oh, okay. Well, enough.
Enough! He just did his hour-long special. What the fuck? No, I didn't hear what Christie said. What the fuck, are you retarded? I was doing
Wait. Go back to the mozzarella. What about that?
Exactly. What the fuck is he? This guy doing an impression of somebody? Enough. Then he takes charge. I could just see the producers probably going, no, it's Artie Lang. He's doing it.
When he goes, I got to tell you.
That is perfect. That's the best. I mean, listen, I've heard people try to do that is very impressive. That's a fuck. God damn it, that's funny. Gabagool. Yeah. I don't think I can do me as well. It's actually, he got very, you can tell from Twitter, he was really popular from on the Stern Show doing that. And I've known Sour Shoes a long time. And he's a real talented guy, but it's kind of a sad thing. He's kind of, I don't know if he's mentally ill, what do you want to call it, but he can't leave the house. He's like 44 years old. He's never left home, and I don't know. He could make money on the road doing this because just Stern fans, like if someone brought him out who does an hour and said, look, for 4 minutes you just do Artie, you can pay, people would show up for that. That's how Stern fans are. They're loyal. I mean, Beetlejuice makes a few $100,000 a year, I think. So anyway, listen, Sour Shoes, he knows I've always loved him. That's fucking great. It's really perfect. I got to tell you, yeah. And the Gabardelle. But the fact that Francesa just, lets it go for a long fucking time. What Christie, what did he say? How about them Royals?
He didn't think it was going to go that far. He didn't have the next line.
That's exactly right. Like he would go, I'm going to get hung up on, and he goes, oh, shit, I got to say a Chris Christie thing? I don't think the guy go, how about them Royals? He went into Kissel. On the Jerky Boys. He went into Camaldo and Kissel. How about them Royals? He kind of went into Don Zimmer. Like, I'm here. What do you want me to do? I got some fucking apples or something. Play that one more time. That's worth it.
One trade so far. Artie in New Jersey. What's up, Artie?
Artie.
Hey, what's up, Mike? Mike, I'm a long-time Yankee fan, but I got to tell you, and this happened in '86. I was listening at the time. I bet my buddy sausage and pepper sandwiches for the year that the Mets will come back and beat the Red Sox. Okay?
Click. Hang up right there.
Listening to you last week, I did the opposite. I bet the Royals would 2-0 lead on the Mets, and now I got a year long of mozzarella and gabagool, and I feel bad because I don't know. Did you hear what Christie said about the Royals?
What did he say?
How about them Royals? He kept calling the answering machine saying that. It was crazy. I got gabagool, I got gabadelli.
I guess this guy's doing. Is he doing an impersonation of somebody? Oh, okay. Well, enough. Rob.
Yeah, enough. Way to put your foot down, Mike. Enough. Is he doing an impersonation?
Not even sure.
Yeah, exactly. How about them Royals? Listen, Sour. Dude, I'm busting. That's one of the hardest I've ever laughed. Very, very good stuff, Sour.
How about them Royals?
You gotta have that as a drop. That's fucking funny. Again, I'm glad I was able to sort of acknowledge that for the first time because obviously I'm not gonna take something from Howard's show, but anytime you fuck with Francesa, I love it. I'm there. Yeah, here's the thing. I gotta tell you. And then I the same thing this year, but with gabagool sandwiches. What the fuck did he think was happening?
I can only imagine his producers were holding up signs. Like,
It's
like,
that
what?
guy.
Huh?
It's that guy. He's doing an impression of that guy you hate. You know the guy who ruined Joe Buck? You got to hear how self-righteous Francesa got and condescending about Joe Buck. Like, I mean, come on. He's talking about groups of people, gays. All right, shut the fuck up. Oh, that's funny. How about them, Ron? All right, well, listen, Bravo Sour.
Hey, did you guys ever play the Rod prank when he called MLB.com as Francesa with the clips?
No.
So basically what happened was when all the teams were clinching the division, MLB.com was selling officially sanctioned champagne corks.
Right.
Be part of the celebration.
Right.
Buy a cork for $10 or something.
God, how much
awful.
money do they need?
So Francesa was railing
All of
on
it.
exactly that.
All your money, yeah.
He was railing on exactly that.
Right.
Like, how greedy can you guys really be to sell these corks? So he's talking about the corks, and he's trying to go on the website to buy a cork to see how you do it.
Yeah.
So Rod took the clips and called MLB.com saying, my dad's having trouble buying these corks. And the security or, customer service guy's trying to help him out.
Do you have it already?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let's play that.
MLB.com shop. My name is Don. Now your name, please.
Hey, this is Rodney.
Okay, thank you. How can I help you tonight, Rodney?
Hey, it's actually my dad's gonna need some help. He's trying to order some corks online, and he's having a heck of a time with it. I'm gonna put him on the phone, all right? He'll explain to you this problem.
All right, no problem.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Now you go to shop. So you go to shop and you let shop come up. It didn't come up yet. There it is. Okay. Now, where do I go now? To auctions?
What are you trying to purchase? Now, this is MLB.com shop. We don't deal with anything as far as doing, auction.
Oh, there we go.
You,
All right. So I got it. I don't see where it says auction, though. Where does it say auction? I see cork here. I got cork, but I don't see auction.
I'm not quite sure because they're actually a separate entity than we are, so I've never had to deal with that.
How about them Royals?
I need specific cork because there's more than one cork here. So I need champagne bottle
Like an idiot.
cork.
Okay. The best thing I can do for you is I can try to locate a phone number for you.
Locate a
so you can
phone
get in
number?
contact with them.
Trying to dump
Like
them
I said,
off.
They're actually a separate entity than we are, so I wouldn't be able to assist you on that matter, okay?
You're losing me. I don't know what you're saying.
I would not be able to assist you. I am MLB.com shop, and you're on the option website. Well, we are two separate companies.
Cork. Here we go. No. It says no. It says no products in my shopping cart. So wait a second. I did cork.
All right, what website are you on right now?
The auction ends in December. Just in time for Christmas. Wrap a piece of cork and put it under the tree.
Hello?
What, the guys, the Met Clubhouse attendants didn't realize they could have put 15 of these in their pocket and made a fortune.
Fortune.
I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. I do apologize. You actually dialed the incorrect phone number.
You're really.
Wait, listen, when you get back from Mars, call us, okay?
All right, you too. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, that's great. That's fucking great. Yeah. How about them Royals? Okay, good, Rod. Good job, brother. Good job. All right, I gotta wrap it up. I have shit to do. Actually, I have an interview with the Washington Post coming up. All right. It's right. Thanks, man. Thanks
Hey.
as always.
Oh,
Thanks
hey,
for
man.
coming. And what do we got? How do we follow you? Do what? Where are you gonna
I
be?
got the Comedy Cellar on November 7th.
What's your Twitter?
At Ryan Reese.
I saw it, okay, at Ryan.
REISS. And November 28th, Connecticut, Treehouse Comedy Club.
Great. Okay, November, and you're at the Cellar this weekend.
I'm at the Cellar this weekend.
Okay. I'll try to stop by there. Actually, I have a. I think it's sold out, but this Saturday, November 7th, I'm at the Ridgefield Playhouse in Connecticut. I do that every year. So there might be tickets left. Go check it out. Ridgefield Playhouse, and then November 28th, I'm at the Valley Forge Casino outside of Philly. the 28th of November. So check that out. To artiequitter.com. Anyway, fun show today. That was a lot of fun. I laughed very hard today. From Don Zimmer to Sour Shoes to Gerald's heartfelt apology. And the great Harry Shearer. Harry, thanks so much, man. I love you. December 1st at BAM. I'll be out with Harry and his wife Judith for a Christmas special live. Check it out. Flippin', thank you, buddy. And Filato, thank you.
Oh, can I just say something?
Right,
Artie?
go right ahead.
I'm raising funds for the Movember Foundation. That's why I'm growing this mustache.
What's Movember?
It's like a men's health awareness group.
Yeah.
So if you go to mobro.co/JamesFlippin, you can donate money to the
Okay,
cause.
great. And is Gerald Rosser involved with that?
I'm recruiting Gerald as one of my fundraising captains.
I am going to have Morris and Angela, our two Columbos, the ones that uncovered the picture.
Shout to them, by the
Check
way, for
out-
finding it out.
Yeah,
the
good
ones that-
job. Good
Yeah.
job, guys. And again, Ryan, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Come
Thanks
back.
for having me. I'm
Come
coming
back
back.
again.
Coming
Absolutely.
back.
Take care. Brush your hair.
How about that royal?